podcasting's choice. From coast to coast, continent to continent, right here 24/7.
PNR.
Blueberry.
This podcast is a member of the Blueberry Network. Blueberry. No E's. That's Blueberry, BLUBRRY.com. Blueberry.com.
This podcast is a proud member of the Lamb Podcasting Network. Find the network at largeassmovieblogs.com.
The Big G. Tokyo Town. StompDown.
Hey kids! It's time for the show!
I thought I told you to stop doing that.
I know. Oh well. It's the Big G, Tokyo Town StompDown, 31 Days of Godzilla presented by Subject Cinema, eCinemaOne, and Kaiju Corner, Kim's all Kaiju series, all Kaiju all the time, available for a $5 a month membership on Patreon.
Yeah.
So
would you please stop doing the Binky the Clown opening? You're really starting to creep me out. And anyway, this is a serious series.
I know. But we gotta have fun somewhere.
And yes, I actually said it was a serious series about movies about people in rubber suits.
Well, yeah.
Beating each other up. I know.
Or metal suits.
Huh?
Or metal-looking
or
suits.
Or metal-looking suits. Like
Today,
this
we are diving into the 1993 film, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, known in America as Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2.
Yep.
Even though it's not a sequel to
Nope.
the 1974 film of the same name.
Right, because in Japan, they completely disavowed all those movies when they started over again.
I know.
You know, it's just, it hurts.
Yes, it does.
Don't try and figure it out, because it just hurts.
This is May 20th, 2019, and the 20th film in the Godzilla franchise.
Yes.
So far, we've hit them all in order. We're going to be skipping around a little bit as we get down further on. But,
this is the 5th film in the Heisei series
Yep.
of films. This film has a character in it that people either tolerate or don't. We're just going to say it that way. So
they had this film has the Godzilla equivalent of Wesley Crusher and Adric?
yeah,
Pretty much? Okay.
pretty much. Well, I happen to like him.
Okay.
But other people don't, because other people are mean.
Okay.
So anyway, the story begins in 1992 when the United Nations, in the middle of all the other stuff that they do, finally noticed, oh, by the way, Japan seems to get besieged a lot by giant monsters, so we should probably do something about that. So they come up with hold on, deep breath, the United Nations Godzilla Countermeasures Center. Whew! I got that all out in one breath. I have black spots in front of my eyes now, but I got it all out in one breath, damn it.
Right?
So, yeah. You can't make a word out of this. Stop it. It's not going to work.
You can make a word out of anything. You just have to try.
You can make a word out of it. It'll sound stupid.
Well, I know
and
that.
It'll sound like a Scrabble, board exploded. But, anyway.
Okay.
So they come up with this board, I guess, countermeasure team, however you want to word it. Their sole purpose is to stop Godzilla whenever he decides to rear his gray.
Stop by for a visit.
Rear his gray-green head out of the water and take a frolic through Tokyo or wherever.
Usually Tokyo.
Usually Tokyo. Not in this film, but most of the time. So, wars, famine, all that stuff, screw it. We're just dealing with giant radioactive lizards here.
Yeah.
So, going back to one of the earlier films, they have...
The last one,
yeah,
right?
Speaking of the last... Yeah,
or the one before last.
No, it was the last film. The Mecha King Ghidorah is when they introduced it in Godzilla versus...
Mothra?
No, I'm sorry, you're right. Yes, the film before.
The one before last, yeah.
I apologize, the film before. So they still have in their possession the mechanical middle head of King Ghidorah. Blah.
Mecha King Ghidorah.
Mecha King Ghidorah. because that's not a mouthful. And they find it in the military branch of the United Nations Godzilla blah blah blah, which is known as G-Force.
Hey.
As those of
Haven't
us,
they taken that from somewhere before?
as those of us who are Gatchaman fans sit off in the background and quietly stew. Actually, we don't quietly stew. We sit there and scream loudly. So what they do with this dead piece of tissue and cybernetics is using reverse engineering, they wind up creating 2 machines to use against Godzilla the next time he shows up to run amok. The first is a gunship called Garuda, and also a mecha called Mechagodzilla, which for some reason they make to look not exactly like Godzilla, but it's built like Godzilla. Godzilla shape-ish kind of thing. I have no idea why.
Yeah, it kind of looks like him.
It looks like it. Well, if you squint, I mean, it's
I
not.
don't think so. I think the
It's
resemblance
not
is
like
pretty
the
good.
last. It's not that like the last time when they had Mechagodzilla, where they had this, where the aliens had the skin covering over him to make him look like Godzilla.
Right.
We're not bothering with that crap.
Yeah, he's just a metal monster.
Yeah. So fast forward 2 more years. We're over here now. Whee! And there's a group of people that go to this island called Andana Island, which is located in the Bering Sea. And they find this large egg, which they assume is the egg of a pterodon. Is it actually pronounced pterodon?
No,
or is
it's
it
probably
pronounced
just pterodon.
Pterodon.
But we always pronounce the P because of Danger Mouse.
Yes.
Anyway, that's a bad thing to do.
Because we're petwits.
Well,
So-
we didn't invite him to a petite party.
We have to stop this.
I know,
It's
anyway.
it's going to get silly.
Going to get silly? Anyway.
I know. Too late! Moving forward, so
Okay.
they find this giant egg, and they decide, of course, to
Make an omelet!
No.
No. Okay.
You
Make
can
deviled
watch-
eggs?
You can watch your cooking shows later, Martha Stewart. Can we finish with the kaiju?
Excuse me? Do not insult me like that.
Fine. I know, I'm sorry. So the thing is, they find this egg, and wow, it's exciting. The thing is, as it turns out, this egg is also giving off a telepathic cry. It's making these telepathic, whatever's inside the egg has telepathic abilities because kaiju movie. And
how convenient is that?
It's the plot fairies obviously played a visit. So this signal alerts both Godzilla and Rodan, which is an adult pterodon, and not something that you want to screw with. Now, first of all, when you consider the fact that this is an adult pterodon, which is an extinct flying reptile bird thing, that would be scary enough as it is. Yes, I know, I'm terribly scientific.
I didn't say a word.
You didn't have to. I could feel the eye roll from here. But,
wow, I'm good.
Yeah, you are. You're amazing. But this pterodon has been mutated by nuclear waste, because of course it has, and it's become this gigantic pterodon that can also have breath weapons and stuff like that. And the both of them show up, and they are apparently both want this egg for whatever reason, and they fight about it. Godzilla winds up beating the living crap out of Rodan because it's his movie series, and the rescuer, while that's going on, the humans grab the egg and abscond with it, which seems to me like an incredibly stupid idea, but I didn't write this movie. So they go to this place in Kyoto where they have a research center, and whatever is in this egg, it's still sending out these telepathic waves and stuff like that, and they're having an effect on one scientist. It's a female scientist, and they're thinking that what's happened is this egg is imprinting on her. Whatever's in the egg is imprinting on her. that thing that happens with animals when they hatch, and the first thing they see, they're like, "Mama!" And if they're lucky, it is their mom. If they're not lucky, it's a snake or something that's like entered their nest trying to eat them or whatever.
Right.
As it turns out, what is in the egg is not a baby Rodan. It's a baby Godzilla.
Godzuki!
No! And you will not bring up that name again, or there will be consequences. And I assure you, they will not be pretty.
Bad TC, no
yes.
cookie.
Damn straight.
I haven't seen this one. I have to do something. My job is comic relief. Anyway.
Try harder. So what the research team decides from their what they're seeing in front of them, obviously, because they're going, what the hell? They figured that what happened was that at some point or another, this egg was left in a pterodon nest the same way that, and I realize this is going to get into a little bit of nature stuff, so I'm going to slip on my David Attenborough coat.
And voice?
No, I'm not doing the voice. The whole thing that happens with cuckoos. Now, if you don't know this is not, I'm not screwing around. This actually does happen. Cuckoos, which are real birds and don't just live in clocks, actually what they do is they will find a nest where there's already birds, that bird has already made a nest, laid their eggs and all that. The cuckoo will lay their egg in that nest, and their egg will be taken care of by the bird that already laid all the eggs. Sometimes...
Apparently the bird can't count.
Because apparently birds are dumb. I guess the term bird brain is an actual thing. And when usually the cuckoo will hatch before the other eggs hatch, and they will actually, even when they're little babies, they will push the other eggs out of the nest, and they'll fall and splat. And I've actually seen video of this. I've actually seen video footage of this. No lie.
Mean cuckoos. I knew I hated those clocks for a reason.
And the other bird will wind up taking care of this bird, thinking it's their bird, their baby. So the scientists think that might be what happened, who knows how many kabillion years ago, that somehow this, whatever, Godzillasaurus, which is what they've actually termed Godzilla as being, that's the, scientific name for Godzilla, that at some point a Godzillasaurus somehow got one of its eggs into a pterodon nest, and that's why this baby Godzilla is here. Which may also explain why Rodan wants it as badly as Godzilla does, because Rodan thinks it's their baby.
Uh-huh.
And they're going to be real disappointed when they find out that it's not, because, trust me, it looks nothing like a baby Rodan would look. It looks like a baby Godzilla. And not entirely in an, "aw, he's so cute" way. I mean, I have to admit that. I love Godzilla, and I'm a big G fan and stuff like that, and you're like, "oh, it's a baby." Yay? Well, we'll kind of go with yay. So Godzilla again shows up in Japan because he can hear this, and this thing is, I shouldn't call it a thing. The baby is still sending out these telepathic waves of, I'm here, that kind of thing. I don't know if it would be accurate to compare it to a human baby crying, but just it's sending out this ping, for lack of a better word, and Godzilla's honed in on it. And so the Japanese, the Japan Self-Defense Force kicks Mechagodzilla into life, and it intercepts Godzilla, who is on his way to Kyoto to get the baby. And there's this big smackdown between Godzilla and Mechagodzilla, which looks like Mechagodzilla might actually win. But Godzilla, using an energy pulse, manages to mess with Mechagodzilla's, circuitry and all that, because it is a machine. So Godzilla's like, okay, that's done. And now he's still looking for the baby. And the scientists have figured out, oh crap, this, Godzilla has some kind of a link to this baby, so we need to put the baby somewhere where Godzilla can't get it. So they like basically put the baby like in a place where it's shielded, the waves can't get through to reach Godzilla, so Godzilla can't find the baby. 2 guesses what happens next, and if one of your guesses is Godzilla gives up and goes home, pick the other guess. Godzilla goes on an absolute rampage and pretty much stomps the city of Kyoto, or at least most of it, into paste before just retreating into the water again. Now, this is where this movie gets truly stupid. I'm sorry. I realize that's a terrible thing to say. But you can kind of go, okay.
Yeah, this is really stupid.
This is dumb. I'm sorry. You can kind of go, okay, I can sort of see how a lizard could be transformed by radiation. I can sort of see this, that, and the other thing. We as G fans have had to swallow a lot of questionable science. This, I'm sorry, I'm not swallowing this. That's a phrase I never thought I'd actually use on the air, but anyway, I know. Family show! So, they run some tests on the baby Godzilla, and it turns out that the baby Godzilla has a second brain. Okay.
In its hips.
In its hips.
That must be convenient.
What? And that's what it uses to move. That's how that's where it controls, that's the part of the brain that controls how this thing moves.
I'm kind of glad I haven't seen this one.
I'm like, in its hips? That's really the best you could come up with?
It's 5th grade science class stuff.
In its hips? I mean, even the idea of a second brain, I could deal with that, dumb though that is, I could deal with it, but in its hips? You couldn't put it, like, in its tail? Or maybe have a second brain next to its heart? Or in its dorsal fins or something? In its hips? This is dumb as beep!
Well, you know what that means, though.
I don't, she said, knowing full well she really shouldn't ask. What does it mean?
Never mind then.
No, what does it mean, Angel?
Never mind then. Go ahead.
No. Apple of my eye, cream in my coffee, peanut butter to my jelly. Go ahead. Yeah. I want to hear this now.
If it's in its hips, it means Godzilla's got back.
I really thought we were going to go for a Shakira joke, but anyway.
Hips don't lie.
Yeah. So.
But hips apparently think.
Yeah, apparently. And the scientists, through the fact that they're scientists, decide that this must also be...
I dare you, prove that.
Yeah,
After this, prove that. Give me your credentials. Where did you grow to Polytechnic at?
They decide that Godzilla must have the same thing.
Okay.
Right. Okay. And they decide that they're going to use the baby Godzilla and use him as a lure to get Godzilla to show up, and then they'll have Godzilla fight Mechagodzilla, and then they think Godzilla will get killed, I guess?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Besides the fact that that's wildly immoral and just wrong, I'm sorry, you're going to use a baby? You're going to use a baby.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
No.
And I know that some people out there are going, oh man, she's gonna, this is the earthy, crunchy, granola, hippie Woodstock stuff coming. But I'm sorry. No, it's a baby. That's not cool. That's some really bad karma. So what do
they expect the baby to do to attract Godzilla? They're gonna put it out in the middle of the ocean in a giant high chair so it can go, I'm not baby, gotta love me. What are they gonna do?
Lord. Oh, Lord. Really? We had to do that?
Well, you keep talking about baby. And nobody puts baby in a corner.
Damn it, you took my joke! Son of a bitch. So, they take the next thing that they decide to do is, besides this whole thing where they're going to use a little innocent creature to lure Godzilla into a death trap, I'm sorry, did that that might have come off as slightly biased.
Well, yeah, but there's a reason for that. It sucks.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And I'm biased. They have this weapon installed on Mechagodzilla's wrist called a G Crusher, which is this thing that's supposed to help the robot to break through Godzilla's hide, because let's be honest, Godzilla's like a kabillion years old and mutated. His hide is going to be like concrete.
It isn't going to be like jerky.
No. His hide's basically like concrete. That's why whenever they shoot missiles at him and stuff, they all go boing, 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 you know, that kind of a deal.
Yep.
So...
He's made of adamantium.
He's
apparently.
not made of adamantium.
Well, his skin might have adamantium in it. Or an
unreasonable facsimile.
Right, exactly.
And the idea is that they're going to... they want Mechagodzilla to paralyze Godzilla by destroying the second brain that he has in his hips. Here's anything resembling sense. Here's the open window.
Or sanity.
Whee!
Or science.
That's, really. We also get another character that we've had in previous films in the character of Miki Sayagusa, who is a psychic, and she's basically conscripted to become part of the crew that's running Mechagodzilla. And they want her to use her psychic abilities to locate where Godzilla's second brain is. Even though she has some kind of... They've already established that she has some kind of psychic tie with Godzilla. And who knows what the hell's going to happen to this woman if they, paralyze and or kill Godzilla. I mean, it might
that
kill
psychic
her.
bond was established in Godzilla vs. Biolante 3 movies earlier.
Yeah, and I mean, this psychic thing, that could kill somebody. If you have a psychic link with somebody else or something else, and the link gets severed, that can cause all kinds of problems. So, she doesn't want to do this, but she winds up having to do it because, when the government tells you to do something, you kind of do it. The problem is that before anything can happen the way they want it to, Rodan shows up again. As it turns out, he's not dead. And even, to just add another cherry on top of this sundae, he's been further changed and mutated because of the radiation he's been exposed to, probably from Godzilla.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And he's also responding to the call that baby Godzilla is letting out, and winds up intercepting the transport vehicle from the countermeasures. Would you please stop that?
Why?
So, Mechagodzilla and Garuda are sent after Rodan, and there's this big fight between the two mechas and
fight,
Rodan.
Fight.
That was the abridged version.
Yes.
And Rodan is wounded again, and this time it's a fatal wound. Godzilla shows up not all that long after and winds up fighting with Mechagodzilla. And while it looks like that both of them are actually on an even keel when it comes to fighting strengths and weaknesses and stuff like that, Mechagodzilla combines his form with Garuda. So now we've got an updated version of Mechagodzilla because Japan, and it's called now Super Mechagodzilla because, again, Japan and Sentai stuff.
It's morphin' time.
Pretty much. You are not wrong. And they hit at Godzilla and they attack him and they use the G Crusher, and it actually works. They're actually able to paralyze Godzilla. And everything looks like it's actually going to go the humans' way for a change, which is irritating. But it irritates me.
Yep.
The thing is, Rodan, who is still dying, because it takes kaiju a very long time for death scenes. If you've never noticed that, it really,
Right.
He's dying, but he can still hear the baby crying and calling. He starts trying to fly toward where the baby is, but he winds up being blasted out of the sky by Mechagodzilla, and when he falls on top of Godzilla. And somehow, you know, if you had to take a drink for every time you said somehow with this movie, Rodin's essence, we'll go with essence because soul just feels
Life force.
Weird. It cures what's been it fixes what happened with Godzilla's second brain, and he's no longer paralyzed. And he's not only not paralyzed, he's even more powerful than he was before. And if it's possible, he's even more pissed. So,
it's possible.
Yeah, it's possible. Godzilla winds up attacking Super Mechagodzilla and completely shreds it to little bitty pieces.
Da 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 da.
Godzilla finally is. I don't know if he's reunited because they haven't actually
Connected. He finally gets to connect with.
He finally finds the baby Godzilla, who at first is. I mean, this thing is not enormous. It is a baby, so it's not this gigantic monster. And it sees the gigantic monster, and it's all like, pretty much. Sorry, that had to be done.
Yep.
Ow,
that hurt.
Mickey winds up speaking with the baby and calming its fears and stuff like that, and telling the baby that it's supposed to go with Godzilla, that they're the same species, and, you know, that you know, it's basically like, you know, that's who you need to be with now, you know, and that kind of a deal. And Godzilla winds up taking baby Godzilla with him, and they go into the water, and that's it.
Would this been a better film if it had been the original idea? The original plan for this particular slot in the Heisei version was a remake of Godzilla vs. King Kong. With a Mecha Kong injecting G-Force Special Forces into Godzilla's bloodstream in a manner similar to what was seen in the movie Fantastic Voyage. What? For Pete's sake.
To be honest, no. That would have been worse.
Yeah. I can't I mean, this one is... all of the Heisei series is out there to me. All of them. I have not seen any of them, and I'm like, okay.
The problem with the Heisei series, a lot of the problem with some of the films in this...
Although they are among the favorites of the fans.
I know. And some of them are really good or weird, or good and weird, like Biollante. Then you've got this. The thing about the Heisei films is they knew that people responded to Godzilla battling familiar monsters.
Yeah.
And their attitude was, well, we want to keep him battling familiar monsters, but we have to do it in a different way. Mm-hmm. So we get this.
Yeah, and King Ghidorah and Mothra, they were all kind of weird for that.
Well, yeah, but some of the weird actually works. I mean, the whole expansion of Mothra and the whole Cosmos thing and all that stuff like that, I think that's cool. And what they did with Ghidorah and the whole Mecha King Ghidorah, I mean, I gotta be honest, the whole thing with Ghidorah being these three mutated animals that get put into one animal from like evil time travelers from the... No, that's stupid.
Yeah.
I like my Ghidorah being from outer space. I'm sorry.
This movie
is just, oh boy.
This movie was originally intended to be the last film in the Heisei series because TriStar was currently working on a Godzilla film in Hollywood with their blessing. Also
and we all know how that turned out.
Well, and I don't know if that's the same one or not. There was a children's television program spinoff of this film. Mm-hmm. Is that featuring the baby Godzilla or just everything?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I'm not entirely sure.
It's very kind of out there. Tomorrow on the Big G Tokyo Town StompDown, we go into yet another goofy one. And another one to feature, this time, little Godzilla. Apparently he's growing up a bit.
They grow up so fast.
Yeah. In Godzilla versus Space Godzilla.
Yep.
From 1994.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, they're getting crazier and crazier. And I'm sorry.
You have never seen Space Godzilla, have you?
No.
I don't mean the movie, I mean the character.
No.
Oh, we need to rectify that.
Well, I will. I'll see it when we do this.
Yeah.
In any case, we thank you for joining us every time. We hope you visit us at eCinemaOne.com. Also, check out our regular show, Subject Cinema, and Kim's Kaiju Corner, available on our Patreon feed at $5 a month for membership on Patreon for PNRNetworks. Get you everything, all these perks, and access to all the PNR Network shows and sites, and it's a lot of fun. So join us over there at patreon.com/PNRNetworks. Until then, for the Big G Tokyo Town StompDown 31 Days of Godzilla, I'm TC Kirkham.
I'm Kim Brown.
More craziness will be coming toward you soon.
Later.
You've been listening to the Big G Tokyo Town StompDown from Subject Cinema, Kaiju Corner at eCinemaOne.com.
This podcast is a proud member of the Lamb Podcasting Network. Find the network at largeassmovieblogs.com.
Podcasting's choice. From coast to coast, continent to continent, right here 24/7.
PNR.